office staff, utilities, like property, general liability insurance, automobile insurance, work comp insurance, maintenance projects, capital projects, and equipment, and bus replacement. So those are two major purchases, and actually we do a separate capital projects plan and a transportation plan that we have to submit separate from the rest of our budget. It's within the budget, but they have to have separate resolutions. That is derived from kind of an old rule. We used to have separate funds for each of those, and so we still have to have separate resolutions even though they're part of our operations fund now, and those expenses. Any questions on operation fund? Okay. The rainy day fund is just what it is. It's $260,000. We appropriate to spend money in our rainy day fund, even though the intent is hopefully we don't have to. But we want to be able to have the money available, appropriated, approved to spend in case something happens, in case we experience a rainy day. The majority of the income from rainy day is any savings that we see, any inactive funds from any other fund. And then the expenses associated in the rainy day fund are just related to supplemental expenses, emergency level expenses. The past 3 budget years since I've been at Westview, we have not had any rainy day expenditures, so that's really good. Our referendum that we were successful with this year in May, thank you, is a $5.1 million budget, very similar to the operations fund. That's income comes from property taxes that we levy. And our taxpayers approved a 29.4 rate for our referendum fund. And the majority of the expenses are associated with our teachers, and we also do have small expenses related to our intervention support staff and our professional learning community and professional development. $5.1 million budget for our referendum. This year would have been the last year, the 8th year of our very first referendum that was passed, and so we renewed it this year to be effective in 2026. The next page, school pension debt. We have a $290,000 expense associated with our school pension debt, and this is derived from a bond that we sold to finance our pension for our pre-2001 staff and retirement, a severance plan for them. And we are able to finance that fund expense, those fund expenses with our local income tax monies. Fortunately, I just said local income taxes are going away in 2028, and we will be making our final bond payments in 2026. So that's good. The money's going away. Well, we're going to write our last check. So it's $290,000 for 2026. Debt service. This is where we are paying back the note for the general obligation bond from 2018 and 2023. The total cost of the debt service in 2026 is about $2.1 million. We raise property taxes for our debt service as well, and we can only raise an amount that we need to actually pay our debt service payment. On your slide, it says the qualified school construction bond 2. That's an error. We actually made our last payment in 2024. So that's not an expense that we are seeing anymore in our debt service. It's just the 2 GO bonds. Overall, our school tax rates, we advertised $1.15, and we are not going to need $1.15 to finance our budget, nor are we able to raise $1.15. Where we are going to try and land for our tax rate for 2026 is at 74 cents. Historically and traditionally, we have been at 75 cents. It's a little bit lower this year because our certified net assessed value actually went up. We were prepared for it to go down. Legislation happened this year. Everybody was at the ready, all taxing units. AV is going down, assessed value is going down, so your rates likely are going to go up. Our AV went up, so our rate went down a little bit. But we are still able to raise the amount that is necessary for us to totally finance our budget for 2026. And you can see the tax rate comparison there. The reason why the advertised rate is always not just a little bit, it's significantly higher than what our final adopted rate is mostly just related to saying, hey, to the taxpayers, we think that we need $1.15 from you in order to completely do school at Westview, but at the end of the day, we're never going to exceed that amount, and actually we've been at the 75-cent rate. Does that make sense when we're looking at that graph on that very last page? So we built our $33,750,000 budget for 2026, and the intended tax rate is 74 cents in summary. All right. Any questions from the public?
I'd recommend we close the public meeting at this time.
Need a motion to close the public meeting. Chuck? Gary, second. All in favor, raise your right hand. That's 5-0. Okay. Now, we're ready for the regular meeting. We don't have to do the pledge again, do we?
Nope, I think we're on to public comment. We have one individual that would like to make a public comment tonight, and that's Randy Miller. So I invited him, so.
Yeah, thank you. 2 Sundays ago, I made a very selfish and terrible decision, drink and drive, and bring negativity upon Westview, my family. I'm terribly sorry for that. I appreciate the board being able to meet with you guys earlier. You guys are tremendous, and I can't thank you enough for what you've done for me, and being a great board, being able to work with you guys. So thank you, and I apologize for putting you in such a tough situation, and you guys did great. Randy, I came here specifically for this line of people right here, to be able to look you guys in the face and just, you were my first hire, and your leadership and humor. I always appreciate your willingness to work inside the teams. I appreciate you. Kendra, you meet your family here 16 hours away. I'll never forget that, and I will always appreciate that, you having that courage to come out here. Jesselyn, you know, you're new, and your ability to bring in best practices to special ed and to make our school over here the next few years the best. We're nearly the best, but we want to be the best. And Javon, I hire you every day of the week. I appreciate everything you've done. The answer was always in front of me, and you were right there in front of that corp office seat. And Randy, your mentorship. And Morgan's changing Westview academically. It's got us focused and aligned and moving in a direction. And we have incredible accomplishments. And for you guys who I work shoulder to shoulder with, and that's also Cotty Miller, that's Michelle Grimm, that's Lisa Warren, that's Tina Martin. I am tremendously heartbroken and sorry for my actions and my selfishness. I will become a better person. You have my word. Somehow, some way, I will make this a positive. I don't know what my future lies. I don't know what that positive will look like, but I am tremendously sorry. I will miss working with you guys. It breaks my heart looking at you, and I'm tremendously sorry. And for the community and for the kids, hopefully one day you'll be able to hear me talk, be able to share, be able to listen to the lessons that you learned from me, hard lessons, selfishness, and I truly apologize that. And so I'm trying to just look as many people in the eye as I possibly can, and to take full ownership of my actions. And I'm tremendously sorry about that and the hurt that I brought to Westview. So that's all I want to say.
Randy, I want to say on behalf of the board, thank you for what you've done. You brought tremendous leadership. You brought energy. You hired great people. Kids, take this for an example. We all make mistakes. It's all right to make a mistake, but you have to learn from your mistake. Nobody's better than everybody else. And all the stuff you see out there and the bashing, you better look in the mirror, kids. If you live in a glass house, don't throw stones. This guy's going to make a difference right here. I don't know what God's got coming, but he's got a plan. This is part of why Westview is who they are, and this is the other gentleman sitting right here for 20 years. He managed it. Think about it. Thanks, Randy. I appreciate it. Okay, need approval for the board minutes, Randy?
Yes, please.
I'll make a motion.
Chad, I need a second for the Chuck, Toby, all in favor, raise your right hand. 5-0.
Reports, we got Chuck's going to be attending the ISBA conference, I'll also be there, a couple different hats on, but, that is the 15th and the 16th. Under policy, I would ask that we consider this for a first reading. I don't know if there's any questions about those policies that you would want to ask. As far as it being for a first reading, we'll bring them back for approval at the next meeting. Okay, Morgan.
All right, the iRead results were finally released for us to talk about publicly in August. So I have some awesome data to share of the awesome things that our teachers and our students are doing out there. So the first page has our iRead 3 results from over the past years. You guys can see the growth from 2021-2022 at 85.5%. We're now up to a 94.5, which was a little bit higher than my preliminary results, which is pretty incredible. And you can see the gray bar there was our goal. So our goal for this year was to, or for last year was to try to hit a 92%, and we surpassed that at a 94.5. So that feels really great. Our iRead grade 2 results, you guys know we've been giving iRead in second grade for a while now. It's now required that all second graders have to give it. This is pretty amazing. When you guys look at, we were kind of the last 3 years we've been right there at the 50% of our second graders, which we felt awesome about because, you know, they had to pass this in third grade. So for us to get half of our second graders to pass felt great. But then if you guys look at that, that's a 79%. So that is such a small group of third graders now that have to take it. So that is awesome. It's great that once they pass in second grade, they don't have to pass anymore. But what the coolest thing is that's telling us that all of those kids are, they're where they need to be for reading, which is what we want and what we want out of this. So feeling really great. Area schools comparison, you guys can see, I mean, a lot of schools have done a lot of really hard work there. So you can see we're right up there with them. Some of them got a little bit higher than us, and some got a little bit lower. So just kind of a comparison of those around us.
Morgan.
Yeah.
Just from a definition of this, like I always ask them, the area school comparisons, because it's like second grade, they pass some, and then there's the group, and sort of these whole cohort things, but then we've got how does the 94,
That is a
how do we
really great
translate
question.
that into, is that a,
So the 94 is actually just our third graders.
okay.
The state, so all of this, like this area schools comparison, that's only schools third graders. So that's them, so that would be that cohort of third graders though.
Okay.
So it would have been them, the ones that passed in second grade,
Yes.
in addition to the ones that passed in third grade.
Okay, the whole group, okay.
Yeah. I know, that's where it gets tricky, and that's why it's really hard to have preliminary numbers that are accurate, so, yes. Of course. So then special populations, I just always like to see how we're meeting the needs of our other learners. So you can see where we're at with our English language learners. I did this very similar to how I do with iLearn. So the percentage, it's up at the top. So like in Meadowview, we had a 93.9% of our EL learners able to pass, and Shipshewana 96, and Topeka 90.9. But then the number on the inside is actually how many students we have. So we had 31 out of 33 of our English language learners pass at Meadowview, and so on, just so you understand that. So feeling like that's great because it's a reading test, so they have to understand, they have to be able to comprehend English, so that's great. Again, you can kind of see where we're at in comparison with our area schools, with our English language learners, special education. Again, you can see our numbers, and then you can see our percentage pass rate, and then you can also see our numbers of how many in the gray as well. And then area school comparison. And then free and reduced, again, something else I like to look at, make sure we're continuing to meet. Huge celebration. Topeka had 100% of their students that were free and reduced pass. So again, we're meeting those gaps. And then their area schools. And then this is basically why I like to look at these breakdowns. I like to make sure that the gap between our special populations and our gen ed students are not too big. Because we want to make sure we're keeping that gap as closed as possible. So you can see there, I'm really excited to continue working with Jeslyn. I feel like we've made a really good team so far. And so that we continue to support those special ed kids, but it's looking, this is solid. Like this feels really good to have these results. So, and then the last couple slides are our schools breakdown. So you can see Meadowview, Shipshewana, and Topeka. And I will tell you one of my biggest celebrations on this is the closest our 3 elementaries have been to common data. they're all right there within each other, 93, 94, 95. That's awesome. We're providing each of our buildings what they need to be successful. So that's a big celebration for me. So again, this is kudos to those kiddos. This is kudos to those teachers. They have been working really hard. So.
Thank you. Thanks for your great job.
Jessalyn.
Two things for you guys today. First thing there is that agenda from our special education professional development day meeting we had. We spent a tremendous amount of time in our brand new IEP system, which has been a beast. We're working through a lot of issues with it, but everyone was positive. We worked really hard, and we were at a much better place at the end of the day than we were at the beginning. So it's a work in progress, but it was a great day for all SPED staff here. Next page. I included history all the way back to 2021. These are the number of move-in students with IEPs to our district over the past couple years. You're gonna see 25, 26, we had 27 move-ins with IEPs within August, which is a huge number. Based on Article 7, which is Indiana Special Education Law, we have to hold a move-in case conference within 10 instructional days of that enrollment date. So we had an incredibly busy start to this school year, getting 27 kiddos situated in a brand new state program that doesn't work that well yet. So we were positive, we made it through, but we're excited to hopefully see things slow down here a little bit over the next couple of weeks. So.
Transportation.
So for transportation, we are hosting the 3-day class, if anyone wants to be a bus driver at Westview, October 7th through the 9th. And then October 9th and 10th, we have our semi-annual bus inspections, and those will be for our buses that are 12 years and older. So we have those, it will probably be both days. Usually we try to do it in a day, but our buses are getting older. And because of that, it's gonna become a 2-day process. But we've got great mechanics. I don't see any concerns there. Buildings and grounds, so I met with Eric, who is helping us with the performance service, with the bond that we did, so that would be our chillers, the lights. So Meadowview, everything is up and running, and the safety platform is up and is finished. Junior, senior high school, everything is running. We're still waiting on a part, so we're running it manually. It's not running the way it's supposed to for full effectiveness, but it's back ordered, and as soon as that comes in, we'll be fine. And then we have to tie in the 2 new units in the auxiliary gym to the fire panel. So that will take care of everything there. Topeka, today or tomorrow, they should have everything done on the top of the roof. They should have all of the rubber roof on. Then we'll move on to the fascia, the eaves, the downspouts, that type of thing. But the roof itself should be done either today or tomorrow. I didn't talk to Eric today to find out if they got done or not. It looks really good. And then the lights, everything has been commissioned, so we're ready for Bill and I to do training on that he already knows how to do everything, but I guess because you add another set of lights, we have to train it. And now I have access from my phone, so I guess I can turn the lights on from home if I want, see what happens. And at Shipshe, we met today, really good progress meeting. Went over a few things that we've been waiting on, and I just kind of pushed them, like, we need to just get moving, we need to quit waiting on some of these things. So the big thing is the stage still needs to be painted. The gym itself has been painted, which is beautiful. The green carpet is gone, the glue is gone, it looks gorgeous. But we need to put the curtain up. We ordered a new stage curtain, but we want to wait till that stage is painted. So that needs to get done, and Thad's office will be, or his office will be up in the top part there. So those 2 things today, I approved those. They should get working on those next week.
You took down my carpet?
I'm so sorry. I think it was there probably with Keith's time.
Yeah, it predates me. I had bonded with that carpet.
It's beautiful now. So as far as, we've got a few little things that hopefully we can bring in over fall break when students aren't there and just hammer some of it out. But right now they're meeting contractors on Saturday and Sunday just while students aren't there to get work done. So hopefully by fall break I can say we're pretty well close to that final punch and we're ready to move on to the next project. Well, maybe not that fast, but we're ready to do something different. Yes.
Just a sucker for pain.
I know, I probably should have said that out loud. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Seidel?
I don't have anything tonight.
Wow. That's unusual.
Kendra's taking all my time, so.
I got this, I got this. Our ADM, our official count for fall is October 1st, but golly, I have been tracking it since day one of school. As of last Thursday, when I printed our report, we were at 1890. As of yesterday, we were at 1887, so it's kind of been ticking down a little bit. However, the good news is I budgeted 1,837 students at Westview School Corporation. So if our number comes in higher, that means more tuition revenue for our education fund and our kiddos. But the past 5 years, the trend with our ADM has been downward, and every single count in the fall and in the spring, it gets a little bit lower and a little bit lower. So when we're producing our estimates and we're trying to build a budget, we have to have what that number is. Our estimate was 1837. Our number yesterday was 1887. Hopefully it kind of stays around in that ballpark and doesn't really dip too bad. This year, our state tuition, we will be receiving $7,205 per student. And with those additional kids, that's about a $381,000 increase for our education fund. The next page, this just shows the graphic of the data for each school, and it shows fall of 2024. Last fall, our count was 1,907. And so it is still lower than what it was last fall, but it's actually higher than it was in the spring. So in the spring of 2025, our number was 1,882 kids. And right now it's 1,887. So again, hopefully it can stay at that number and we don't see too much more movement, downward movement. Any questions on our ADM summary? Official fall count, again, October 1st, and I will provide an updated report at our October board meeting on that final number. Moving into building renovation, if you need to jump in at any point, please feel free. This is just a snapshot of the big pages that follow. I'll just hit the big numbers. Shipshewana-Scott, this stems from the 2023-2024 summer renovations. We owe $33,190 on that project, and it's actually just retainage on one contractor. We just gotta hold their feet to the fire and make sure that they get their stuff done so we can close the books on that one. We also did some Topeka renos in summer of 2023. We owe $147,000 on that. It's one contractor, 3 different bid packages, and all we owe is retainage, same thing. They've got some things that they've got to finish up before we write that last check to them. Then we fast forward to Shipshewana-Scott's 2024-2025 summer projects. These were mostly funded by our general obligation bond and some of our operations cash. And we've got about $688,000 left on that project. And it sounds like it's progressing along really well. I'm hoping to have A, B, and C, all of those checks written before the end of this year. So we can get those contractors off our books and get them out of our buildings too. Just be done. Then our 2023 general obligation bond projects has been a lot of projects, a lot of little projects, a lot of big projects. That's where PSI, the performance services, came in. You talked about Eric and all of the different things she's walking around with him. We had a $5.3 million budget, and we've been able to spend just about all of it in one summer. That sounds crazy, like how can you spend $4.5 million so quickly? These were big projects, and these people got people in order, in line, the equipment, it came, it was right on schedule. They ran a really, really tight ship. So that feels great to be able to say we only owe less than $1 million on a $5.3 million projects, multiple. Grand total for every building renovation project, all of it altogether is just over $1.7 million. And again, I'm planning on having all of them finished this year, write all those checks, finish them up. Would you like me to go into detail with each of these worksheets? Okay. If you do generate any questions in reviewing the data, need to understand a number, please let me know. I'm happy to go through it with you and make sense of it. But it is a lot of information. I think that's all I got. Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
Woohoo!
That's good for you, kid.
Yes.
I have my time back?
All right, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we're to the consent agenda stuff. So you've got your claims there. A couple of ads I want to make under certified. Under certified, we do have a resignation from Randy Miller, and you do have an interim superintendent agreement for myself, so we want to make those ads. I don't know if there's any questions about anything else in items I or J. If not, I'd recommend those for approval.
Okay, we need a motion. Chuck, you second. Joby, all in favor, raise your right hand. That's 5-0.
All right, got a couple of additional action items. 8th grade trip. Is it okay if we take all of these together, or you like them individually?
One shot.
You got the 8th grade trip, you've got a cross-country state final trip, and you've got a junior high cross-country state finals trip for October. And then we do have 2 additionals, the FFA convention. There's a mix-up on getting that one over to you in time, I do apologize for that. And then one additional action item is securing the services of the university superintendent search team as your professional service provider for your upcoming superintendent search. So I offer those up for your approval.
Need a motion? Chuck, or Chad, Gary second, all in favor, raise your right hand. That's 5-0.
Superintendent report. Don't have a whole lot to report. Learning very quickly, there's some muscle memory involved with coming back as your interim. That's good. You know, there's everybody in the central office seems to be, I guess, performed pretty well, even this one over here. Do appreciate the trust of the board in having me come back, and certainly I think get brought up to speed a little bit, and maybe the next week or the next time we meet in terms of a superintendent report, I'll have a little more for you.
Thanks for coming aboard.
Yeah.
My pleasure. Appreciate that. So,
Other board administrative concerns, I think that's it. We're
done. Need a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Gary, Chuck, all in favor, raise your right hand. 5-0. Kids, any one of us 5 people up here can sign your papers.
And we do have some executive session stuff right afterwards.